fish shorts on for the summer. A little tighter in the crotch than I'd like, but okay. Welcome everyone to this completely unnecessary podcast for Tuesday, August 11th, 2020. That is Ian Ferguson.
Howdy.
This is Pat Contry. On the show today, we will be discussing some nice video game topics, retro and a little modern. We're talking about the outstanding Intellivision Amico event that happened last Wednesday. We'll be discussing the Virtual Boy turning 25. Can now rent a van, Ian. Turning 25.
A van. That's right. Yeah, you have to be 25 to rent a car.
A Chippo 64 or run for Congress. A Chippo 64 console, and maybe the return of a certain game store tale or two. Real quick, Ian, we got merch going on at ultimatenintendo.com. I sold out. This is the last new one. It took me 5 or 6 years. I sold out of the NES Punk wristbands, and Ian said it would never happen. It just took about 6 years to do it. And I actually oversold this one to our pal Russell, who's a faithful patron. And he bought 2 of them. I said, I might have to refund you one because I don't think I have another one around. I oversold him by one. I have a used one somewhere I used to wear in the videos, but that's all dusty. So this is the last of the new ones.
Incredible.
Of the batch. See, Ian? Yeah. Ian's like,
6 years, 7 years is a long time.
Well, it made a profit. Check out the new NES Punk video. Ian loved it. He told me he loved it last night.
It was great.
That was the best one I've ever watched.
I've almost watched it.
It's weird and cool Pac-Man stuff, so I go over. It might be one you might want to watch because it's not a traditional game.
I saw you in a Sonic costume and decided that I was just going to tap out of that.
Well, that's from a past video, Ian. That was like 3 years ago.
Oh,
being the Sonic costume.
Still,
that was the intro.
Terrifying.
Yeah, I guess you never saw that video either.
No, thankfully.
That was a joke. Anyway, so I go over all my. I have a bunch of Pac-Man merchandise laying around, so I just basically go through almost everything I have, and it's edutainment. That's what all the kids like. So check it out, help it out. I appreciate it if you give that a watch. And you know who saw that early though? The YouTube members. The new YouTube memberships are up. Click on the join button next to subscribe.
Yeah,
you can get the Patreon benefits, and you can get chat emojis, and you get a badge, and you can get the full CU Podcast Patreon, and you can get the segments, the exclusive segments that come earlier on the Patreon. You can get them earlier on YouTube as well there. Yoikoi Kids, how did that do, Ian? Did you sell out of the second print run?
Yeah, it sold out. No, the first print, we won't be putting the second print run up until we get the first print run in, and then we'll probably do open pre-order for a couple of days to see how many we need to print on the second print run. But I think by the time that it went live, I think it was sold out or down to like 3 or 4 copies. So yeah, it did great. Thanks everyone for purchasing it. And if you wanted to grab a copy, you still will be able to. I will announce it here when that happens. Like I said, probably about another 2 weeks.
I'm excited for my copy. I'm excited, Ian.
Yeah.
I get it signed by you? Can you sign the article?
I'm not signing anything.
What?
Nope. Yes, I'll sign it for you. I'll sign by my article.
There you go, Ian. So lots of stuff happened this weekend, but you know what was the most important thing, Ian? Was someone's birthday.
Oh, it was. It was my birthday. I'm 38 now. I'm feeling spry. No.
Happy birthday, whoop-dee-doo, whoop-dee-doo. May your day be pleasant, open up your present.
There you go. That's in a loop, by the way, so go on.
You can stop that. That's awful. But thank you. Yes, so it was my birthday. We celebrated it by doing a live podcast for Uplink at Long Island Retro, by Long Island Retro. It was very good. I'm going to murder him. There we go. Yeah. So anyway,
make sound, damn it.
No. So, a lot of those don't make sound. Some of them do. They do the fwee. So yeah, that was a good time. It seemed like the event went very well for Long Island Retro, and I think that that's something going forward that we could see more of our, online only digital conventions.
Well, we're not done, Ian. I got you presents, so I'm going to loop this.
All right.
I got you a card.
Thank you. I'll put the hat back on.
You just keep it for the segment, for the opening segment.
All right, the card.
Open the card.
I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack. Just chicken in, Pat says.
Show the card. Just chicken in.
Just chicken in to wish you a happy birthday. All right.
We're not done yet.
All
We got
right.
presents, Ian.
All right.
You might have guessed where I went over the past weekend.
I actually don't know where you went over the past
You'll
weekend.
figure it out by the first or second present.
Okay.
Okay, give me a number from 1 to 5.
5.
Birthday, happy birthday, whoop-dee-doo.
Finger shooters, Ian.
Finger shooters.
Foam arrow finger shooters, Nerf style.
You went to the flea market, Patrick.
I did, but that's not where I got this stuff.
Oh, okay.
Show the foam fingers to everyone in the audience there.
Foam finger flingers.
Foam fingers.
Foam finger flingers.
Oh, we're not done yet, though.
Flinger shooters.
We're not done.
Flinger flangers.
We got some more goodies. Shoot it. Did you shoot one?
No, I can't get it over.
All right, give me another number from 1 to 3.
3.
Open up your present just for you, just for you. Happy birthday, happy
It is sports doll. Let's play outside with looks like it's a skateboard. It's a skateboarding doll with the yellow hair, blonde hair.
Doll. looks like she slips it on via Crocs. Very nice.
Show the-
Very nice. Thank you, Patrick.
Oh, we're not done.
1.
1.
1.
Ooh, I'm actually jealous. I didn't have this as a kid. It's a magnetic drawing board.
Oh, sick. I love Magnadoodles. That's neat.
Never had one as a kid because my parents didn't love me enough. But there you go. Doesn't have the stamps though, but it has the little drawing thing on there. I'm sure you can get
It's got
stamps.
the thing on it, yeah.
Oh, he's tearing that one open right away.
Open this one, yeah.
He's going for it. Mm-hmm. And then I have one more present. It's probably my favorite. When you're ready, I'll give you the last one. And by now, people are probably screaming to shut off Binky the Clown, but no, that's part of the charm.
I wish she would go away. All right, last one.
Last one. I'll show it to. Close your eyes. I'll show it to the first to the. To the.
Open up your present just for you.
All right.
Happy birthday.
It's a John Cena mini WF figure.
Oh, a mini John Cena.
Barely licensed, but it's licensed.
Barely licensed.
They got the license. It was between that or the last Roman Reigns one or AJ Styles.
Nope,
they also had a Finn Balor one. But I figure you like.
You
hey,
got-
he's a local. He's in San Diego. He lives like 15 minutes from here.
You got me with Cena. I like Cena well enough.
Cena lives in San Diego. It's like a secret.
I had no
he lives in
idea.
Mission Hills. You had no idea that there was a figure that cheap or that Cena lived in San Diego.
That he lived in San Diego.
Yeah.
Or that there was a figure that cheap.
He's got a house in Mission Hills.
All right, the hat fell off.
Are we done with the birthday?
And I'm going to start hyperventilating.
He has a binky?
Yes. Go away, Binky. How long is that loop for?
10 hours.
Jesus H. Christ.
There's one that goes for a day, I think, too.
All right.
Well, you're welcome, Ian.
Thank you, Pat.
I actually like the card the best. Just chicken in is funny. Let me see that card again. Let's put that card out. Let's get the card out for the podcast. Because I put out the Cats one, Space Cats one. That my friend. We'll keep the just chicken in over here. Just chicken in.
Just chicken in.
Well, that was your weekend, and we had a nice panel.
We did. The panel was great.
I hopefully people got a kick out of that. I almost felt like there was another thing I bought. No, I think that was it. No, Ian, I went to the dollar store, which is a lot better for toys and knicknacks than the.
Nice.
Ooh, right in the pectoral.
Yeah.
It's
a lot handy.
That's a lot harder than the darts here. The dollar store is fantastic. You know when I go by there, Ian, you buy like tissues or like $1 there. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Or cleaning supplies or finger darts. I actually got. I love these and I always lose them. Like the mini scissors.
Oh yeah, those are good.
2 for $1. I mean, come on.
Those are very handy.
You're killing me. Anyway, so my weekend, Ian, consisted of besides the dollar store and doing the Uplink Long Island Retro, I went to the swap meet, and something told me to go to the swap meet that Sunday. The good news is that people a lot more than the first time, months later, are wearing masks. And
good.
And the vendors a lot more are wearing masks. But if there are people that aren't wearing the mask, it's still likely to be a vendor. But you didn't have the woman screaming on the loudspeaker to wear a mask this time. So I think they're doing better overall.
Nice.
So I went to the swap meet at about, I want to say it was about 8:30 I got there. So, I used to get there at 7 because I was a maniac. I got there at 8:30. But nowadays, you're not missing a huge amount anymore. There's still stuff out there, but it's not the same as it used to be.
Right.
So on the first couple rounds, I dropped by Derek. Derek is a old school gamer into anime and toys. He sells every year at San Diego Comic-Con. You probably
Does he?
Yeah, he's got the tables in the back right. Yeah, he always has toys there with his Asian fellow. He's always there was usually a friend. They're selling a bunch of stuff.
I would probably recognize him if I saw him.
He's there every year, and it always gives me pretty good deals on stuff. So he had you want the was there an official name for that? It's just Doll
Poopy.
It was between that one and the one that came with a dolphin with a hoop. And I figured that one was more interactive than the dolphin with the hoop one. So anyway, put it up there. So I went to the swap meet. So Derek had
She doesn't stand.
she doesn't stand on it?
Nope.
Damn it. Roll her out there so people can see. There you go.
You just stay there.
He had the 1983 G.I. Joe train set. I don't know if you ever saw that. This is like before G.I. Joe was really mass produced, like before the cartoon came out. So like the artwork is like a painted artwork, and there's no like actual individual G.I. Joes yet. It's just like Cobra soldiers with even different, like they have like red masks on, which they don't have. So it's like really early. So he had that complete for $200, and Pat 5 years ago would have bought it because I'm like, wow, that's hard to find. The little plastic guys are still in the bag. I'm like, no, I'm not buying it because it would sit in my garage. I can't display the train set anywhere. No one has trains anymore. So he had that, but I got a Sega Saturn Fighters Mega Mix with the case and game, no manual for $10. That's a pretty good deal. It'd be impossible for me to find the manual.
Yeah. No, you don't find just Saturn manuals.
It's tough.
Around.
I'm still looking for a Sega CD Dark Wizard manual, by the way. Anyone has an extra one out there. I figured this is going to be a bust today. I'm not really finding anything here walking around the swap meet, but I got to get home. We got to set up to do the panel for Uplink. So then I passed by one of those vendors that deals in like returns and like overstock stuff.
Right.
You ever see them? Like you can tell, they have a bunch of like those like outdoor tents. Somehow they have like 10 of them. Or,
right, yeah.
So they're basically getting the stuff that's like liquidated clearance stuff or returns. They're probably doing a deal with, Best Buys and Circus Cities in the past and just stores like that. They get the deals like that. I walk by and for some reason I see like something that shouldn't be there. I see the NBA Jam arcade 1-up in the big ass box, like freaking 5 foot long box there. I did it. I just stopped because I was like, that should not be there.
Not a usual.
Not a usual flea market sort of thing.
No.
You rarely see. I think in the 10, 11 years I've been to the flea market here in San Diego, I think I've seen 1 or 2 arcade games for sale, or at the. Even though this is a newer one, it's still surprising to see. So I walk over, and the box has it's a return. It says in the box, it says as an inspection sticker, say this is certified. It has all the parts. And I pick it up like this thing's heavy. This thing weighs like 90 pounds, 80, 90 pounds. So this is mostly in there. And we talked about on the podcast, like if there's one arcade one cabinet I'd want to own, it would be NBA Jam.
Yeah, there's only like 2 that I would consider: NBA Jam and Star Wars.
NBA Jam has the Wi-Fi. It has hang time on it, which is brilliant. It has the original, and it has tournament, and we can play multiplayer. And plus, it has a light up, so it's a marquee one, and it retails for the cheapest I saw it was $400. Plus, you're paying tax and shipping. It'll be like $500 to get this minimum. This was $200, so it's like too good to be true. Like I'm like, there has to be something missing in here. But I'm thinking, even if it's like 90% complete, I can buy the parts or mail. Arcade will probably ship them to me if they're like minor parts. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like thinking, this is still here, but maybe some people don't want to spend $200 on anything at a flea market. So I was like, okay, I'll think about it. At first, it's like, yeah, it was one of like a family sort of that swap me every week, and I'm looking at it. I asked them to open it up. Opened it up, and I see most of the boxes are still sealed. There's like 5 or 6 boxes. The tape's on the boxes inside to protect it, and I see the two big side pieces, or one big piece, obviously there. So they're still wrapped. One box was open though. I opened up the one box that was opened, and then it looked mostly complete. There could have been 1 or 2 things missing because there was like styrofoam pieces. So I'm like, okay, this probably is 90% complete here at most. As long as it has the monitor, like you're good to go, and as long as it has the control panel there. So I walked away thinking, this could be something cool, but let me just think about it because I don't have luck, as you know in the podcast, buying used hardware, whether it's TVs or it wasn't even used.
The TV was a bad saga.
The printer wasn't used. It was new, and I had a saga from that. So I do not have the best run of luck with used hardware items
absolutely not.
that are refurbished or returned. Except when it came out to video cameras. The first couple of video cameras I ever bought were used, and they were fine. I had good luck with that stuff. Anyway, so I said, okay, my better nature would be to let this go. I'll walk around, and if it's back in an hour, it shouldn't be. Maybe I'll think about it then. So I come back about 45 minutes later. Actually, it was a decent-sized swap meet this time out. It was decent size. It was still there. And I even asked, does anyone else want this? And now they're all, now the family of 6 or 7
are closing in on you.
They're like, yes, they are starting to trap me.
Right.
They're going for the hard sell. And it was the spunky young female of the species that came up and started giving me like the really hard sell. Like, she was trained. She was like probably 23. She was like, well, I already put up an offer up and someone's willing to give me $250 for it. I'm like, okay, all right, back up a little bit. Yeah. I'll make the decision.
Breathe.
Yeah. Like I said, that's the hard sell. I get it. And I said to myself, you know what, $200. Like I said, most of the boxes were closed. It's worth the risk. Worst case scenario, I contact RK1UP. They seem to have good customer service from what I hear for parts.
I would have spent $200 on an NBA Jam.
Even at a risk. If it was brand new, forget it. If it was like sealed brand new, yes. I would even haggle. Here's $200.
Right.
So I said, okay, I got it. As I'm giving him the money, I'm already regretting it. I'm like, I even said out loud, I regret this. I do not usually, I said it to myself, like, the Interpat said, I regret this. The thing weighs, again, 80 to 100 pounds, somewhere in that area. It's awkward because it's so wide, the box.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I'm strong. I can carry it. Yeah, I can carry it and go 30 steps for it to put it down. So, and of course, on the opposite side of the swap meet was where you rent the little carts, the little push cart.
Yeah.
I should have just went and got one, but whatever. I wanted to get out there, and plus I had to come home to prepare. It was like 10:30, 10:45.
Right.
It fit in my car in the back seat because it's like in an angle like 5 feet. I get into the house here, and I tell Ian, because Ian's coming over, I'm kind of excited because we can play NBA Jam. And I said, and we can be a project. We can put it together. It'd be our version of the NES Lego set. We can put it together. And I think Ian, you were a little excited to want to play it, I think. Maybe.
I mean, it was neat.
Oh, don't feign that in.
No, it was neat. I don't get that excited about stuff. Okay. It was neat.
I bring it home and I stack it here. Ian comes over, we do the podcast. After the podcast, you know what? I don't like to be like my father who like waits to do things.
You're like, I'm going to do this.
Let's see what's in this fucking box right now. Let's see what's in here. The instructions are there. The instructions are there with all the different pieces. It's like A through H and plus the hardware. So I checked the hardware. The hardware was missing like one set of screws. Okay, that's easy. They can send me. I can buy them. That's fine. I had a little checklist of all the letters of the. I start going through the pieces. I start opening up the boxes that were there, and then I'm like, okay. I see the side art. Everything's wrapped in the heavy plastic.
Sure.
The side pieces, the art was invisible. It was against each other, so I'm like, okay, I can't see what game it is there. But okay, but it looks like it's the right size. Okay, they're heavy. I put them back in the box. I find the control panel. The control panel is heavily wrapped with that heavy-duty plastic wrap. So yeah, I can't see what's on the control panel, but I can see the joysticks. The top knob wasn't on it, but they probably had that packed in because you probably screwed it on yourself. Okay, the control panel's there. Maybe I should have measured the width of it, but we'll get to that in a second. I marked down everything that I think is there. The header is so heavily wrapped, you cannot make out any art on it at all. Like, you can't. It's like double wrapped foam on it. So I'm like, okay. I think I'm missing 2 pieces so far. One is the top piece. You don't even need it to put it together. The top piece to complete on the top, like the angle diagonal up, like that would connect to the marquee
from the back. Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? That was missing, and the front piece that had the art that slides in the front. So technically, Ian, I could have made this machine not having those 2 pieces and still played it.
Right.
According to what was there. The monitor was there, was wrapped. I'm like, okay, the monitor is there, the control panel, those are the 2 pieces that cost the most. So 2 pieces, I'm thinking, all right, I'm not bummed. 2 pieces that they would probably send me for like, whatever, $25 or whatever, or send me for free to have them laying around. Plus, I think the decals were missing. I couldn't find that. But then I'm like, you know what, let me check the header. Let me just make sure that's the header piece. I think it's the header piece. It's like B in the list. I started unwrapping it, and I'm like, I see like white art on here. And I wrap it, and it's Galaga. So then I'm like, okay, let me go check the manual again. And then it was a generic. I didn't realize because there was like NBA Jam. I think like there was like a piece in there, but there wasn't like an NBA Jam manual or something weird where I figured, all right, they must have just had all generic manuals. That's what I thought. I don't think they just had all generic manuals because then I figured out, oh, there's a Wi-Fi component to this.
Right.
That's not in here as well. That's not in this manual. So this is a Galaga, which if you're going to be potentially ripped off on an Arky one up, the Galaga would be the last one because that's one of the earliest and cheapest ones that don't even manufacture anymore by themselves. You know, like the one that has Galaga and Galaxian on it.
Yeah.
So
I think at one point those were going for like even as cheap as $200. Right now it looks like to get one, you can get that arcade one up Galaga one at Target right now. You can get it at Kohl's.
They cleared them out for $100 at one point.
They're charging $319.99 for them. I almost wonder, and I mentioned it to Vonnie after you told me it was a Galaga. I almost wondered if someone had a Galaga laying around and they didn't want it, and they bought the NBA Jam and put the Galaga pieces inside and ended up getting the NBA Jam for about $200 or whatever instead.
Thank you, Ian. You're brilliant because that's exactly what I thought. I thought, okay, this is what someone did. Either they had a Galaga that they opened literally one box and decided I don't want this anymore and kept it. That makes sense. Or they ordered two at the same time. Sure. There were two of them, an NBA Jam and the Galaga they got somewhere. I think they had the Galaga from a clearance laying around. They ordered it said Walmart.com, so they ordered the NBA Jam one online, had it delivered, took everything out, swapped almost the entire Galaga into that because it looked packed pretty well. The pieces fit and everything. It was the same width box. Like the side pieces are the same width, so it's the same width box, NBA Jam or Galaga.
Sure.
They put it back in, and they returned it in store, and the in store people didn't give a shit. They're like, okay, so someone basically got probably an NBA Jam for $200. They probably bought a cheap Galaga for $200 somewhere at a store, and then so they got half price.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
So it's 2:45 in the afternoon at this point. The swap meet closes at 3. In 15 minutes, Ian, I have to pack this sucker up, lug it to my car, race down to the swap meet. I get there at like 2:59. You can still get in the swap meet. Thankfully, I parked near where they have the push carts. I said, hey, can I have one? They're like, yeah, sure. It's usually an ID. Just go. Just bring it right back. Okay. I run it up because even by 2:45, vendors start to leave. They start opening the gates. I'm like, oh my God, this would be the worst thing ever to happen in the flea market if this happened. They said previously, the guy said, his name is Mauricio, said, yeah, if anything's wrong with it, I'm here. I'll give you your, we'll deal with it. I'm like, okay, I'll do that. I run it back, and the family was still there. The spicy young one was not there, who was forcing me to buy it basically, but everyone else was there. And so the wife calls him over, Mauricio, and he looks at it. I took a picture of the Galaga on my phone and showed it to the woman just to make sure. I don't think she understood what was happening yet.
Right.
So I showed it to the guy, and he said, he goes, what's wrong with it? Like, because they always want to keep the sale.
Yeah.
He says, does it not work? I said, I didn't get that far because it's not an NBA Jam. It's not that. And so he took him a few seconds to realize. I said, someone probably returned it, swapped it out, and here it is. It's a Galaga. So he was disappointed, but he did the right thing. He gave my money back, the $200, and so we didn't have a confrontation. I was ready to have a confrontation because this can go wrong, these sort of deals. But he was nice, and I was nice. I gave him the list of what was missing. Mm-hmm. I said, here, if you want to try to sell it, here's the two pieces that are missing. It's missing pieces H and I. And it's also missing one set of screws. I gave him the list. I said, put this with the instructions. You can figure it out. He said he's going to try to build it and sell it. He said, but he needs those extra parts. So he's disappointed. Obviously, I'm disappointed.
He's disappointed.
Now
You're
I need
disappointed.
Now I need to get.
We're all disappointed.
I need to get an NBA Jam though, because now my heart was set on an NBA Jam.
Yeah.
I was picturing me and Ian playing against someone out across the U.S. with Oakley and Ewing and being in tournaments together once COVID's over, traveling the world as NBA Jam opponents. They're trying to do online tournaments to get this going as a thing. I
saw.
That was step one, Ian. Me and you putting together, slaving away in a hot afternoon, having a nice Michelob, have a Miller High Life. To celebrate. We clink the glasses after we put it together.
Champagne glasses on the can.
Yes. I'm not asking Arcade One up for a review unit. I'm not doing that. If you got one laying around that's refurbished, give me a deal on it, because now I'm disappointed. Now I got to spend $450 to get one. I thought that would have been the swap meet deal of the year for me if I got that.
He got his jimmies all in a jam.
Yes, because I wasn't in a jam. Thanks, Ian.
I wasn't even thinking that.
But you know what I mean? Like when you're not thinking about it, then it's there and you have it. And now it's gone. A fucking Galaga. Out of all the ones to stuff in there, if it was like another one, if it was like the, I don't know, like the Missile Command one I might have kept it for 200. You know what I mean? Like the Centipede, I might have kept it.
If it was any of the other ones,
yes,
sure. Literally
not
any of the other ones.
Not the cheapest one they discontinued.
Right.
Like the first one out. I mean, I might have kept it if it was maybe if it was like I don't know, maybe the Pac-Man 40th anniversary when it just came out. I don't know, but too good to be true. That person that swapped them out, that person, you slime ball. You cost me time that day on my Sunday. Could have been relaxing.
You slime ball.
I might have just put it together that night. I would have been so excited. I would have put it together.
Yeah, no, I bet you would have.
I've been like, okay, let's just fucking do it, like an IKEA shelf.
It's a good time.
Which is basically how it has those wooden little guys to put together some of it.
Oh, does it? Like, yeah. I figured it probably puts together like any bookshelf.
So I'm an idiot. I should examine the control panel before I even got to the marquee.
Well, yeah, my big question for you is, wouldn't you have noticed when you were examining the control panel that it was only one joystick?
Shut up, Ian.
And not four?
I did not get that far.
It's fair. Just saying.
I was so excited still. It was heavily wrapped. It was like that. It was heavily wrapped. I could make out that there was a joystick. But yeah, I should have measured it out. I should have measured, okay. Because NBA Jam 1 is like double the width almost. There. I know, I had the main cabinet. I had the huge fucking 4-player action in there. Anyway.
Now I'm looking at like the Centipede cabinets.
That was my Sunday, Ian.
Well, moving on. Jesus.
Tencent, Ian. You want to talk about Tencent?
Tencent. Trump said he was going to basically ban TikTok, and then was going to basically ban anything that uses the WeChat program, I believe, in game. People were very, very concerned because Tencent has their hands in just about everything. And it would be bad for gamers. Tencent has a stake in Fortnite. They have almost, I believe, a 100% stake in Riot Games. And people were thinking that this was going to, potentially eliminate these. Like with one fell swoop, we could see a whole bunch of
ban
games.
any transaction.
Yeah,
with Tencent.
Any transaction. So basically,
anything they own.
The initial read was that these companies would not be able to receive any money from anyone in the U.S.
Sure.
Thus eliminating your ability to partake in the things that they have a stake in. They have a 100% stake in Riot Games. That's League of Legends. 40% in Epic Games. So that's not only Fortnite but the Epic Games Store.
Which would be any transaction there potentially.
They have 11.5% in Bluehole, which I did not know, but that's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. 5% in Ubisoft.
PUBG.
Public Battlegrounds G.
Yes.
5% in Activision Blizzard. 80% in Path of Exile, and some other ones. So that would have been very, very far-reaching.
And Riot, they own what? League of Legends, right? That's the big one.
That's what that was the first one I said. 100% stake in Riot Games, which is League of Legends.
So obviously, Trump, I think, was pissy because of the TikTok people ruining his Tulsa thing the other month. Mm-hmm. Supposedly they bought all the tickets out. Not that a lot of people would have showed up anyway, but that was probably
they didn't buy them. They
signed up free for them.
Yeah, they signed up for them to basically give them a heads up that there's going to be all these people here, and there's no one showed up.
So it was a national embarrassment. It was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was like 25% filled. That little place.
They even had the balls to have an overflow area where he was going to give a speech to his millions
with a screen
and millions of fans,
and there was no one there.
They fucking tore it down. They're like, all right, we're going to take this down.
So that's probably part of this because he's petty. I know he likes to attack the Chinese government and the economy. That's part of his what riles up the base. Obviously, an executive order is easily challenged.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yes. I was never particularly concerned that this was actually going to have any...
Her feet are so tiny they can't fit in here.
Yeah, it's almost like the doll maybe wasn't for the skateboard that they packaged it with.
They just found a bunch of skateboards laying around?
Yeah, and they're like, all right, let's just put these two items together. Skateboard's almost as tall as her. Low center of gravity.
Were her feet bound when she was a child, keeping that small? Anyway,
Jesus Christ, Patrick. But executive orders can be challenged, like he said, very easily. I always kind of expected that would happen and this wouldn't get very far. It's also a matter of the intent versus the actual...
The goal
of it. It seems like that this is probably just going to affect WeChat directly.
TikTok, yeah.
And TikTok directly. And I don't even think it's going to get that far, to be honest with you.
There's supposed to be some sort of vulnerabilities. I don't look into security vulnerabilities with that.
Well, TikTok has been shown, it's mining data.
Yeah.
It's mining data. That data is probably all going to the Chinese government. But
sure,
you have
they
lots of things mine data. You have your choice whether or not you want to actively partake in using a program or not.
They're gonna. I mean, when you use any app, potentially they're gonna know. Obviously, they know when you use it. They're gonna know where you are. And so obviously, they're probably getting some sneaky data. And the government, you don't want any foreign government to have that. So I get that, but that's probably not all where this comes from. Obviously,
no,
doing this. Like the noble goal versus everything else. What was I going to say about this? So I don't see this as shutting down all these other game services and games. I don't think it'll get that far. I don't think you can legally do it anyway. So yeah, it'll get most likely tossed. That's all I have to say about it. Really, it's just a lot of bluster. Something to do before we are less than 3 months before the election. You make a little bit of buzz here. And they even said, it won't affect Activision Blizzard and other gaming companies, but their stock still plunged. A Tencent stock obviously plunged when the news came out there, so it hurt them a little bit. The only thing I saw I thought was interesting that they shouldn't have had allowed anyway. Like they are banning like TikTok if you're like a government employee, like you're not allowed to use the app or something. I saw something like that. It's like, well, that's reasonable. I don't see why they'd be allowed anyway, especially if you think they're mining data. You don't want the Chinese government to know exactly where you are at all times.
Yeah, I mean, that's where a security concern seems very legitimate.
Yes.
To be in that regard.
I would think a lot of apps you'd want to look at and be like, okay, what the hell exactly are you taking from here? Like,
right.
Is there someone in a room somewhere in China that's like, okay, we know this government official's here because they're using TikTok to do something stupid? Because that probably happens. You don't think the Russians are doing stuff like that? They want to know where people are.
Right.
So that's fine. I just thought that was funny, though, attacking TikTok, potentially. I still have not used TikTok. Have you? Do you have an account?
I have absolutely no desire to ever use TikTok.
I was almost old enough to use Snapchat, but that's already dying out, I think it seems like, thankfully, because Snapchat's garbage. But TikTok might stay around for a few more years like Vine did before it goes away. We'll see.
I don't like being on video, whether it's 5 seconds or 5 minutes. TikTok has zero appeal to me.
You got the wrong profession right now, then. Okay. I want to bring up this Twitch story that's not necessarily a full topic, but it's interesting. A boy, I'm guessing a minor.
A teenager,
a minor, donated $20,000 to various Twitch streamers. That was a story that came up about a week ago. And so the good news was, you hear about this stuff happening every few years where someone goes nuts. You hear about it with the loot boxes and the FIFA stuff in Europe. You peeling off the protective thing to that? Mine's still on, I think. And you're not shocked to hear this, but when you hear $20,000, you think there has to be something unfortunately wrong with the child or minor to donate that much money. Do they not realize the concept of the money, or is there something else going on?
Are they pissed at their mom? Yeah, I mean, who knows what they're doing it for? But the donations it was $19,870.94 belonging to his mother. The donations went to popular streamers including Tfue, Gorb, and Ewok TTV, as well as athletes such as Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kurt Benkert and Miami Heat's Myers Leonard. He
shoots the 3-ball pretty well.
Okay.
You're not following the NBA in the bubble?
Not right now.
Before that, Myers Leonard is pretty good. The mother contacted her bank, this is from TechSpot, but was told that unless she pressed charges, it would be considered friendly fraud, which is when a consumer makes an online shopping purchase with their own credit card and then requests a charge back from the issuing bank after receiving the purchased goods. or services, which has happened to me a couple times. I'm not going to lie. Friendly fraud against me. The parent said almost all the money has now been recovered after she contacted, geez, how do you pronounce it? Zizola XS? Zizola, a service Twitch uses for payments. Company agent said that using its online chat feature, she got adjustment credits on most of the transactions with the condition that the account is permanently blocked to prevent future unauthorized charges. The mother said that Twitch was no help, calling its lack of response the most frustrating thing of all. Well, Digitally Son's Twitch account was abruptly closed after she filled out an online help form, causing all transaction information to be lost. Oh, I see. So she closed the account before getting the money back. That might have hurt.
Yeah, that may have made it difficult.
A little more difficult. No word on whether the Twitch streamers who received the money were contacted. That would suck for them if you got that money. Oh, I got $5,000. Oh, it's gone. But you got to realize when you get that much amount of money, something's going on. Must be something happening.
Right. Also, none of the streamers mentioned were small time, which,
sure.
I mean, it sucks all the same, but it would be a lot more devastating if a small streamer got that as opposed to one that is currently making, a very reasonable living doing it.
I feel like I want to tape her feet into the skateboard.
Let it go.
I spent a whole $1 on this, Ian. I just wonder how did he get the account information? Must have got the card and linked it to the account?
Yeah, I mean, that's all I can think of. So maybe he said he was buying bits or something, or hey mom, can I borrow the credit card? I need
said, yeah, sure.
a Fortnite skin.
And he bought $20,000 worth of bits?
And yeah.
Which I guess you can do. You think Twitch would have something against that?
It could have just been a direct donation too. We have no idea. But
but you'd have to have your own account for a direct donation, your own PayPal or what have you.
Sure, true.
You would if he was under 18, he wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, and it says she contacted Xolo, which is a service Twitch uses for payments. So maybe that's how they do the bits and payments and stuff. That's crazy.
Or Twitch, you got to check up on these huge payments.
Yeah, I feel like anytime someone's buying $20,000 worth of bits, that maybe something's going on.
They didn't get, or the credit card company does the whole thing. Did you purchase it to the mom's cell phone like they did with Ian the other week?
Yeah,
that was in thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that was like $300. Christ,
because I get that rarely. Never got it for booking a flight because that's on a website and that's more secure. But I've gotten them sometimes for, hey, did you make this $150 purchase? And you text back, yes, I made it. I guess it didn't happen or it wasn't set up with it. Wow. Okay. Sometimes they call you if it's really serious too. They'll call you.
Anyways, TechSpot is saying the son is now said to be remorseful for his actions and is receiving counseling. In addition to his account being blocked, he can only play games while being supervised for 1 hour per day and must do positive activities throughout the day, get exercise, and interact with the family in a positive manner. Well,
that's a somewhat good ending to it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully he gets the help he needs. Because...
there's no reason to give NBA players making millions of dollars money on Twitch.
No. I mean, I'm not upset with their salaries. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh no. If they get paid to play the game, they get paid to play the game. But they don't need the bonus donations.
Yeah, I'm sure it's nice to get them, but Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah,
you're in the bubble. I hear the bubble life's actually not bad for living in the bubble.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. They got lots of stuff.
If only it was a real bubble.
Real bubble?
Yeah.
You see that they have like yoga bubbles now and exercise bubbles. So if you go to class, you get your own like 8-foot bubble that surrounds you.
No, I have not. That's crazy.
That might be a thing. Even though it said it heats up, there's a fan on top, so it circulates out the air and everything.
Bizarre.
So hey, we got to adjust during the certain public health crisis. All right, and then real quick, the Retroid Pocket 2. We got 2 more things actually. The Retroid Pocket 2 was announced, and people are covering it. Someone asked about this. This is one of those handheld. This is a handheld Android system. So this is like one step above a RetroPie at least. And I don't know, it looks cute. I'm not into these overall. I don't own any of these, but this is powerful enough to run PS1 and N64 emulators. And I don't know, it has cool looking triggers on it. It's like $80.
It's nice looking, but there's so many of these and they're constantly coming out. You really have, if you want an emulation machine, you have your choice.
Yes.
You have a shopping mall full of choices. And this one looks as nice as any of the other ones. I think someone on Twitter tweeted a picture of them playing they were using like we were talking about Game Boy games, and they posted like a picture of them playing Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle on something that looked similar. I don't know if it was, but yeah, I mean, that's a nice looking unit. But yeah, people asked us to mention it.
It looks like, I mean, it looks like a hybrid of a Game Boy Advance shell, but then you have like a Switch Joy-Con, little thumb Joy-Con.
Yeah, they definitely
left.
wanted it to look like it looks like a Switch Lite is the closest thing I could compare.
Yeah, it has pastel colors you can get. There's 4 trigger buttons, and you get your analog on the left, and you get a nice D-pad looking D-pad, a real D-pad. And the right, it's a slidey 3DS little thumb little jobber there.
Yeah, and that one's only digital, they say, which is weird. I don't know how that would affect some of the PlayStation games. I imagine that could make the camera go really, really fast, but
it has a 4:3 screen. Yay! So they cropped out.
That's good.
Thank you, Lord. And then I like the fact that there is Wi-Fi to 2 players with 2 units. That's cool. That's a little extra bonus. I don't probably picture most of these having that. If obviously your emulator has to support that, but there's a lot of emulators that support online play.
that's a neat little feature.
So me and Ian can play GoldenEye against each other on our own little screens and have a blast. So
we love
like I said,
GoldenEye.
I don't own any of these at all. I always went the route of, well, if I get a 3DS, maybe I'll get or DS, maybe I'll get a flash card. I always go that route. I never went for the emulator machine. I always went the opposite when it came to this stuff. But check it out if you're into this stuff. There is like a whole scene that loves following this stuff. I'm just not into it.
Yeah.
About what's the latest and greatest. But this one seems fairly powerful for what it is. It has to be to run N64 decently. But I did mention, like, I think that the resolutions are obviously scaled down, so you don't have to be as powerful.
Right.
You're on a smaller screen. There. But anyway, check it out. It's the Retroid Pocket 2. And the Retroid Pocket 1 looks like ass, so I'm glad they improved it to that. And then finally, Ian, for this intro, the Switch surpassed 60 million units sold.
Yeah, some wild stats out of Nintendo.
Wild stuff.
This past week, Switch has surpassed 60 million units, which means by this point and the increasing sales since that number was official, it has probably surpassed the NES in terms of units sold.
Because it lags behind, yeah.
Meaning the only console that Nintendo's made that has sold better than it is the Wii. The Wii had, I think, lifetime of like 111 million or something like that.
102, I believe. I'll
102.
look it up.
Maybe I'm thinking PS2 was 111 million.
Yeah, it was 101.
Okay. So I think PS2 is slightly higher than that. But that's an incredible number. I don't think the Wii was kind of out of nowhere, but I don't think anyone really saw it when this was announced, Nintendo shattering that record
in less than 3.5 years.
3.5 years. Even Pat and I, who were pretty optimistic about the Switch going in, and never forget, so many people were convinced that this thing was a failure.
No,
dead on arrival.
And these big gaming journalists and big personalities, and fuck you all. As nicely as I can say it, your arrogance.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Nintendo should go third party.
No. So yeah, good on Nintendo. And also worth mentioning that Animal Crossing New Horizons has sold 22 million copies, which is just insane.
And
for
like
any
how
game.
many months? Like 3 months? How long has it been out?
It came out in
April or May?
February, March, April. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I mean, for any game on any system, that is an absolutely ridiculous number of units to sell. That's like a 40% attach rate per system.
And that's a small amount of time, though. That's the thing. And that everyone bought one that quickly. We all bought it.
So
maybe the COVID helped.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it did. It absolutely did. I don't think that game would have done nearly as well without everyone in lockdown.
People were just starting to go stir crazy then. They needed something.
Yeah, people who knew what the game was going to be like
March
me,
20th.
were looking forward to it. We were like, this is going to be perfect for lockdown. And then everyone got it and started talking about it. And I think everyone was just like, yep, let's do it.
5 months it's been out almost.
So, yeah, I mean, very, very crazy.
So that's a second place now to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like around 26 million. So maybe it'll catch up to that.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been out for almost the entire time the system has been out. It came out like 2-3 months after the system was released.
Was that summer?
It was that fall. It was like
it was a fall.
It wasn't. It was like
they
March.
Started doing the bundles.
I think it was May was when they when that came out. So, this will easily top Mario Kart at some point, and will probably I don't see anything else on this system being a better seller. This will probably be the best selling game for the Switch.
I mean, it's an incredible accomplishment. Obviously, not trying to. Oh, by the way, then there was almost the same amount of Switch Lites sold the past, obviously quarter, because you couldn't find the regular Switches. You could find the Switch Lites. So, I almost feel bad if people were that. Like how many people would wanted to get the regular Switch, but they settled for the Switch Lite. They're like, okay, I'll just settle for the Switch Lite. Because you're at home, you probably want to play on your TV when you at least have the option.
Well, when I know mine and Bonnie's friend ended up getting a Switch Lite because it was all she could find, and she's selling it and getting a regular Switch.
Sure. You probably get most of the value back for it and get it. So
yes.
I mean, what do you sell any used Switch Lites at the shop or no?
Switches Switch Lites I don't really see. Switches when we get them are going for just over retail used.
Over retail.
Mm-hmm. They still can't be found anywhere.
Wow. I'm sure some of that has something to do with this, and obviously all the scalper bots people bought them all out to get it. But if the demand wasn't there, they couldn't buy them. The scalpers couldn't buy them. So I don't know where this is going to end up. I don't know. It probably won't hit 100 million. But I can't make any predictions anymore with the Switch. I mean, you can't.
No.
You just can't. You just have to say, well, all bets are off.
The only thing that I think would stop it from hitting 100 million is if Nintendo cuts its life short based on its power, and I don't think they will.
They don't have to.
No, they don't. But you are going to start to see when the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X come out, that's when you'll notice the difference between generations. But that also said, there's really, I mean, Sony announced some first-party games, but a lot of these games that they're announcing are still coming out on both systems. I think it's going to be I think the Switch has another year. I think it'll be the end of 2021 when the Switch really starts to show its age in terms of comparison to other systems.
But all these first-party games, though, don't have to have bleeding-edge technology.
They don't. I don't think they do. That's not my belief. I'm just saying the general market will probably say something.
I don't know, because for the podcast, I brought up the top-selling games were almost exclusively Nintendo first-party. And they can always work within their own system limitations, obviously. So. Sure. We're still waiting on the second Zelda game. That's going to come out. We're still waiting on Metroid on this system. They might do a Star Fox on here. It makes sense to do that.
I think they probably will.
Or try to re-release the Wii U one in some way. You know what I mean? Like there's
this holiday season's looking kind of light for the Switch, but I have a feeling
something's getting worked on.
Something's being worked on for probably 2021. I think everyone's just kind of written off 2020.
We forgot the new hotness, Clubhouse Games.
Oh, yes.
I did not see how many that sold. Actually, yeah. What did Clubhouse Games sell the past few months? Now I'm serious. Clubhouse Games sales. That probably did better than you think, just because a lot of people were more excited about it than you thought. Let's see. Clubhouse Games sales. It did 600,000 just in the UK, according to Wikipedia. So that's pretty good just in the UK.
Nice.
So by population, were we like 5 times the size of the UK? 6 times. We're in the millions, multiple millions, probably several million. That probably sold for that. I don't have the sales on here yet. I don't see it. So that's my game of the year, by the way. The GOTY. GOTY? Game of the year. Game of Thrones.
You're goaty.
All right, we done with this this meatier than I thought intro?
Yes.
All right.